Back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, the countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go.
Now we're back from the dead.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to talk about a couple of random questions, mainly about how to set up an investigation and what to do if you get like anxiety, depression. Can you investigate? Should you investigate? All that. Okay, so setting up an investigation can get intense. You know, the first thing you need to make sure is you do like inventory of all of your equipment. Batteries have to be a check. I mean, they actually have a ton of checklists that you can find online for items that you should take with you or prepare yourself for an investigation. So I'm not going to go over that stuff. When I try to contact a location for an investigation, I have like a letterhead that's official, my contact information on it. I have very, proper English going through, writing, basically a letter presenting myself to this company or this location or this place, saying that we'd like to come in and investigate. We exchange free stay. So the innkeeper will give us 2 nights or 3 nights of free stay in exchange for us investigating and shooting a documentary for them, and then we send them DVDs in the mail. So rather than paying to stay there at the location, it's kind of like a swap. I like to write handwritten not handwritten, but typed letters, because sometimes when you call a location and you hit them up like out of the blue, they get like awkward and they feel like they're on the spot, and they're like they don't, and it takes a lot for them to like process and retain that information. So I feel like when you mail them a letter in the mail, they can look at it and reference back to it, and like all of the information is in there. And I've actually had people say, I've had your letter sitting on my desk for a year or 6 months or 2 months or 30 days, and I finally made the decision to give you a call. So that's how I like to function, and I feel like I've had a really good outcome with that, the whole time I've been an investigator. I always have my crew has to sign like emergency forms. So if something happens on set, I know who to call if there's an emergency, especially if we're like far away and out of town. I have had people bump into stuff and break really expensive stuff. So I do have to keep everybody on my liability insurance. Sometimes you go into these historical locations and there's like $1 million vases or vases, and people knock into them and break them, and they're not replaceable if they're ancient or part of history, but they'll come after you for the money. So you have to make sure you have liability insurance, especially if it's a historical site. I really make sure all my ducks are in a row. I make sure nobody's under the influence of drugs and alcohol. That's because you're more susceptible to possession, oppression. I mean, seriously, when you're like under the influence of drugs and alcohol, you kind of are loose with taking your filter off. Like, I think of it like a hat. So most of the time we have our hat on and we're protected, and the minute you get like drunk or high, you get like comfortable and you take your filter off, and then you trust everything, energies, and you're not really paying attention to things around you. And that's when those energies, malicious ones, can kind of enter or attack. And so that's why I'm a big stickler with no drugs and alcohol on set or before set. So a couple of you guys asked me, I've had this question a few times. I suffer from anxiety, or I suffer from depression, and do I think it's safe for you to be an investigator? I think, yeah, it's possible for anyone to be an investigator. As humans, I think everyone has suffered from some sort of depression or anxiety. I understand there's chronic and there's a difference. There is mental strength that can come out of anything. I actually do have anxiety, not all the time, but some days I'll wake up and be like, I'm anxious and I can't deal with anything. You know what I mean? So mental strength is really big with that. Meditation and yoga. And I'm not talking one time meditating is going to cure you. I'm talking you need to get in the habit of using meditation, not only for your own mind strength, your mind's eye, your higher self, but maybe also to communicate with your spirit guides. And I'm not going to go into that in this video. Maybe I'll do one later. If you're interested in trying to find some info on that, Google spirit guide, you know, trying to contact spirit guides through meditation. I am a very big scent person, so while I'm meditating or doing yoga, I love my aromatherapy stuff, candles, anything like that. I also have, like, I don't have it on today, but I have this little round necklace, and it's an aromatherapy necklace that I got from Amazon. And there's like a little tiny piece of felt inside of this tree. And on the felt, you fill it basically with 10 drops of any aromatherapy that you like. And if you get stressed during the day, as weird as it sounds, I will actually be able to smell the aromatherapy from it being on my neck. And the scent somehow calms down my anxiety. So you have to just find other tools to help with anything you're going on. I mean, day-to-day work, anything can cause you to get anxiety. The mental strength thing is really important. Even, you know, using chakras and balancing your chakras, that can really cause like anxiety problems and even depression. So I'm not going to go into a chakra chat, but every few weeks I'll like to do some like serious meditation or work on my chakras. You can even find people on like Groupon that'll help reset chakras, and that's like all of your different systems. I think there's like 7 colors, or I'm not a pro at it. I even have like chakra books for chakra healing, the chakras that are in your body. Another way to relieve my anxiety for myself is even writing. You just have to find ways to get it out. You know, like if you think a lot, which I do that too, especially being creative, I have to find myself writing stuff out. Not necessarily to do tasks, but just write things out, and then that helps get rid of it. Do I think it's safe having anxiety or depression? Using certain tools like meditation and even yoga can cure that. There was a 90-year-old woman in the news not too long ago, and she couldn't walk. I think that she had scoliosis, and so her back was like, have you ever seen the older people where they just are totally hunched over? She was like that. She couldn't walk. She had a walker, so she barely could walk. And she was really depressed. She said she had suffered from depression her entire life. And she was like 91, and she just said she wanted to die, and she wished that she would die. Her granddaughter decided to hire her a yoga instructor that was proficient in like aligning chakras, doing meditation, and also doing yoga. And of course, when she first started out doing yoga, she couldn't do a lot because she has scoliosis. And she said it did hurt for a while until she kept working on it and kept working on it. She does not use a walker now. She can do like the tree balance pose. I'm not sure if you guys know what the tree is, but and she's not depressed anymore. She's not suicidal. So I really think that, you know, you hear stuff like talk about yoga with celebrities and even meditation, and people look at yoga and they think that's easy. Like, you can't break a sweat doing that. Oh, yes, you can. I've been doing it for a while, and I'm still a beginner, and I still, like, the downward dog, you put your, like, feet flat on the floor. My feet still are not flat on the floor. Like, you break a sweat during yoga. And it's a mental, it's not just a physical strength, because trust me, you feel it physically. It looks easier than it is. Once you actually do yoga, it's hard. But it's also about mental strength. It's like holding poses and balance and you know, even agility. So you have to remember there's other ways to cure it besides, you know, sometimes you need pills. I get it. But I think there's other ways that we can work on it together. I don't think that it makes it impossible for you, you know, as a person. Now, would I suggest someone with severe depression goes into Bobby Mackey's to do an investigation? I don't think a normal person should go in Bobby Mackey's. You know, maybe if you have a lead investigator say, look, if there's dark cases, I can't be a part of it. You know, I mean, pick and choose what you want to be a part of. Lead investigators, as long as they're doing their job properly, they'll get some sort of like a pre-case done where they will know, you know, what's going to be unfolding at this location. So just don't do the dark stuff. Go try to find a friendlier haunt. Like I've said, the Stanley Hotel is a friendlier haunted location. See if you can handle it before you jump into becoming like an actual investigator. Do I think Ouija boards cause negative energy and demons, and that's not for people with depression? I've told you guys that Ouija boards to me are nothing more than working with a digital recorder. I think that the stigma around Ouija boards is ridiculous. and look up Robert Murch, and he has the biggest collection of Ouija boards in the world, and Robert does not believe in Ouija curses or negativity. I think they can be used maliciously. I would never use a used board or one that hadn't been cleansed. I always either like take salt water or even some holy water and spritz it down before and after. That's just for maybe my own peace of mind, but I don't think there's anything that someone with anxiety or depression should stay away from other than maybe some really dark cases, and really work on your own mental health as far as other ways of exposure. Okay, somebody asked me, do I think being an empath or a psychic is hereditary? And if it is, do I think it can be passed on to like a younger generation? Yes, I do think that it's definitely hereditary. My grandmother was like full-blooded Indian, and she was super psychic. She hated negative energy around her. Like a rambunctious person that had like ADD or just like couldn't slow down, it would affect her energy and she wouldn't be able to be around you. My little cousins were really full of energy and stuff, and so she would just not want to be around them for that reason. It wasn't an offensive issue, it would affect her energy. My mother is like my mom, I feel so bad for my mom. Like, her empathy is so strong. My mom's empathy is mainly for children and animals, especially like in abusive situations. My mom, if she sees a news story on like social media or the news, she'll carry on about it for days, and like this, just she can't help it. She literally puts herself in the shoes of that child or that abused animal, and she'll cry, and so it affects her really bad. She's not really into the paranormal side as much as I am, except my mom does say that she can see auras. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. So supposedly people have different auras around them, and my mom can see the auras. I can't see auras, but my mom says that when people have this like grayish colored aura, kind of like my sweatshirt, hopefully that my aura is not gray, my God. But she says that she can see death in their eyes. Like, she knows they're either dying or they're going to die. And I told her, I'm glad I don't have that gift, because that's a burden I don't want to carry around. Like, no thanks. So my mom can see auras. That's pretty strong. My aunt, I think my aunt, I told you she got me really into like haunted paranormal stuff, and she loved Elvira and Tales from the Crypt, and she knew her house was haunted with family, and that was just it. There was nothing scary about it. It was what it was. My aunt was a late night owl like I am. Like, I'm the kind of person that could wake up at like 11 and stay up till like 3 or 4 in the morning and do it all over again the next day. I work better at night, so maybe I get that from my aunt. And the only other person, my little cousin Hannah, she has the gift as well. Hannah is my second cousin, and when she was little, I'm talking like 2 and 3 years old, so like just able to talk, she would say that she would talk to my grandmother, and my grandma had passed on like maybe 5 or 6 years before Hannah was even born. Now, then, with going into Hannah, people ask me, what's an appropriate age to let a child investigate or be a part of investigation? Or do I think that a kid should investigate? Well, once again, going back to Bobby Mackey's, would I take Hannah in Bobby Mackey's? No, I wouldn't take her in anywhere dark. But Hannah's been to a lot of haunted places with me. She started going with me, I'd say like 7 or 8 years old. She would go stay the night with me, like at the Stanley Hotel or, stuff like that. I wouldn't take her anywhere scary. She loved it. She still loves it. She's great at investigating, actually, and she started at a really young age. So really, that's a family topic. That's a family decision. Do I think that they need to be involved in something really dark? No, I think that's a bad choice. I don't think they should be overly involved in the paranormal either. I think a kid needs to be a kid. I think dealing with death and like this side of the realm can be dark sometimes, so you don't want a child to lose their youth. So make sure that they stay on like the life side, and you don't want them to get overly involved. But then again, I was a weird teenager. I was a weird kid. I was always more into paranormal and stuff. So you have to kind of let them decide, like, if it's something they want to get involved in, it's okay. You know, just remember, you can get followed home easily, and make sure that you take care of it with my video about not letting things stay in your house or keeping attachments. Another way for people that have like anxiety or you know, depression is crystals. I have crystals all over my house. Yes, because my name is Krystal, but because you can infuse crystals with positive energy. You can use them when the moon is full. You can infuse crystals with salt water. It just gives them positive energy. You can put them in the sun and infuse them. And honestly, I will wear crystals around my neck sometimes, and if I'm getting anxious at work or if I have stress going on, I can actually feel the vibrations of the crystal in my hand. And basically, the way you can also infuse these is every time you have a positive thought, whether it's your husband, your spouse, your kids, your animals, your job, whatever you're grateful for, anything happy, you should hold this crystal and kind of like almost meditate for just a few seconds or a minute, whatever you want to do, and you infuse it with positive energy. And that way, that when you feel the vibrations of it, if you're at work during the day and you're stressed out and you grab the crystal, you can feel the positive vibrations of it. Crystal doesn't work for everybody. Some people might need an amethyst. Some people might work with tiger's eye. But you have to find the gem that works best for you. Mine just happens to be clear quartz or clear crystals. And I have them everywhere. I even have one that's right here on my desk that I keep with me. Another thing that helps me with like anxiety and stuff is waterfalls. I have a couple waterfalls. I love my Himalayan salt lamps. I actually have these all over my house. They're supposed to basically kind of suck in like negative energy or bad energy and then re-emit positive energy with the salt. If you live near the ocean or close enough to the ocean where you can go once a month or once a week. We live about 4 hours from the ocean, and the salt water is so healing. And I'm not talking going in the water, just breathing in the salt water. If you can't get to the ocean, draw a bath. You don't have to sit in the bath, just draw a bath with some salt water or Epsom salts or something and breathe that in. That's another way to get kind of like a natural healing cleanse going on for you. It just emits a lot of positive energy. Another thing that I'm affected by is lights and lamp colors. So for some reason, like when I do YouTube for you guys and I talk about stuff, like I love the color red. It just makes me feel vibrant about, talking and discussing paranormal with you guys. So I have a bunch of essential oils that I put inside of my essential oil lamps, and they all have different colors. So in the morning, I tend to turn on like an orange or even a yellow, sometimes even green. And then in the evening, I'll turn all these down to like a blue or a purple. So I just set the tone, and it really turns the atmosphere into different, ways of creating yourself and helping yourself spiritually grow. Different scents with essential oils, like this is sweet orange. So I wouldn't use this unless it was in the morning, I'm getting ready for work, or I'm here at work. I would use the sweet orange, and that's because it's really citrusy. It's gonna wake you up. It's vibrant. In the evening, I'm actually kind of like a peppermint tea tree kind of person, so I'll use those scents at night, and that'll help me sleep better. There's so many more things like that you guys can probably research that I don't even use. Educating yourself, reading, self-help. I love, I have Amazon Kindle that I use. Like I get the $9.99 unlimited Kindles, and like it's a free world of knowledge. Plus Google, you can Google everything nowadays. Anxiety and depression, not feeling good physically, and I don't mean just with yoga and meditation. If you guys watch my other channel, you know that I've been on like a weight loss journey. I had stress in my life from some of Blake's family, and I had gained a lot of weight for a long time. So now that I've been losing weight, and I'm still losing weight, that really makes you feel better. Like when you fit in clothes that you enjoy, or you don't get out of breath walking inside the grocery store. So I mean, really changing your whole lifestyle can help. I had my gallbladder removed like 5 years ago, and ever since then I haven't been able to process certain foods. I don't know why, it sucks. It's just the way my body is. So if I eat too much meat or dairy or even gluten, my body kind of starts to shut down, and it's like this sluggish feeling. So then if I stick to like more of like a vegan diet or even a vegetarian diet without gluten and without dairy, I'm feeling positive. My energy's up. For some reason, when I eat dairy and I love cheese, like if I could eat cheese 24/7, I would. But for some reason, if I eat a lot of cheese, like I feel like the fluid goes into my lungs and I start coughing and I'm like allergic to milk and dairy and stuff like that. So I just have to be careful with what I'm putting in my body. That stuff can really cause like anxiety and depression and stuff like that. We can get into discussions on how bad fast food is for us, but we know how bad that is. Like we know that it's not processed the best and it's all processed foods, but caffeine can cause headaches, it can cause depression and anxiety. So you just have to really watch what you're doing. And it's kind of a lifestyle change. Like I was actually going to share some apps with you guys if that's cool, like some of my favorite apps. So I'm just going to stand up so that you guys can see. So this is Wunderlist. So I use this to like kind of control, like if I get, anxiety or anything like that, if I need to keep things organized and in perspective, and it hooks up to an email account, and then you just make lists of like to-do things that you need to get done. This is an app that I use, which is my Fitness Pal, and that's for, tracking what you're eating throughout the day. You guys wouldn't believe how bad you eat until you track it with that. The two food apps that I love is Yumly, Forks Over Knives, and basically you can find recipes that are within certain things that you want to stay away from. So I like to stay on the vegetarian, gluten-free, dairy-free side, and they have a ton of easy, cheap recipes in both of these apps. This is Yoga Studio. I use this every single day. This is my yoga app that I use, and it's the best thing since sliced bread. This is my meditation app. I use it. They have so many different meditations. They even have like evening meditations, nighttime meditations. You go into collections. They have stress meditation. I mean, there's so many. So this is my favorite meditation app. The Yoga Studio looks like this, and you have to download each. There's just different collections. And there's easy ones, there's intermediate, there's hard, so you can make it easier on yourself. You have to start somewhere, obviously. But this is my favorite yoga app. Notebook and Writer, which are right here. I use both of these for if, like I said, I feel like I need to get some like information out and process. And this app called Pacifica is a mood tracker. And so if you're feeling anxious or if you feel like you're having a bad day, you can go into this app and just log your anxiety or feelings, whatever you're feeling, and then you can track and see, you know what, I had this to eat that day, and for some reason, I felt strange all day after I had too much caffeine. So maybe we need to eliminate the caffeine. Okay, Nikita, wherever you are, I know you're out there, you asked me the best question someone's asked me in a while. And that question was, sometimes Nikita says that she watches Ghost Adventures or other paranormal shows, and she feels like the energy, she's either really scared or tired, or sometimes she feels like the energy could be transmitted into her house. So her question is she crazy or is that possible? Oh yeah, that's possible. And it's happened to me. In fact, the other night after we watched Route 666, my house came alive. What it was, I don't know. Obviously, I haven't investigated in my house. I haven't even been on an investigation in a while. So how it transmits, come on, it's like a highway. It's like a super highway, Everything is a super highway. And so yeah, after Route 666, I got stuff posted for you guys on YouTube. What was I up doing at like 3 a.m? Smudging my house. Yep. Because I don't live with it. I will not allow things to stay. When I first started investigating, I always get followed home. It's inevitable. But when I first started investigating, I would get followed home and I'd let it just stay here. And then I felt bad to tell it to go. You're just like a newbie. Like you're like, oh, I don't want to tell it to go. I feel bad. It's just some lost poor soul until they're making your life a living hell. So now if something comes in my house, it's out of here. Like I don't even deal with it for 5 minutes. And it happens to all of us. But yes, Nikita, everybody can get things transmitted to them. It's weird. It's crazy. I was watching Paranormal Lockdown, the Halloween special, which I'll do a review for that for you guys later. But they were talking about the Black Monk House or whatever it was called. And, he's saying there's all these demons. And then a question came up from someone is like, how do they know they're demons? And if they are demons, how do they know to like be mean to Nick and Katrina or whoever? Because it's like a super highway of like discussions. I bet you like when there's dark stuff and you're going to dark stuff, They already know you're coming. Like, how many times have you guys heard Zach on Ghost Adventures say, we already got an EVP? It's like they knew we were coming before they were here. Yeah, because it's a super highway. Like, we don't even know how it works. We're not on the other side. We can't interact like that. We have no idea. You know, putting letters out to go to this location to investigate. The owner calls you. You go out there. Of course, it's already in the works. They've heard about you. They know what's going on. You know, the communication. Who knows? It could be like Casper, where you go through the telephone wire. I mean, seriously, we remember the thing that they set up, Ghost Adventures, with when the Constantinos were still alive. Wasn't it Virginia City? My God, where was it? Bobby Mackey's and somewhere else. I can't remember. And they set up that super highway, and it was like across the United States, and it worked. So just remember, like, the possibilities out of this realm are endless. Like, we don't know we really don't know everything. We're never going to, because we're human and they're not. And that's what makes this field ever-changing and so cool and so fun to interact with. Just don't let it stay in your house. Watch my video on how to get rid of entities, because it's bad for business. You guys are awesome. I love your ideas and stuff on what to chat about. So make sure that you give my video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please leave me good comments below. How do you guys deal with stuff? If you guys watch a really intense episode of Ghost Adventures, have you ever thought something came into your house? Were you just jumpy? Did you feel like you were mimicking Zach's energy or Aaron's energy? Let me know what you guys think below, and I will catch you guys next time.
We're back from the dead. Back from the dead.